If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
In a world where insanity reigns supreme and safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, it's comforting to know an ancient, fat, long-haired, bearded reprobate has your mind in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. And despite every attempt by the SHR Media Network to revoke his shameless contract, we return to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon.
I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct, right here in the SHR, the sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent SHR Media Studios, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. Tonight, it happens to be Tuesday, July 2nd. The year of our Lord 2019. You got a belly up to the bar. We've kept your seat, and it's great to see you back. Flackbait is going to be your bartender tonight. He pours with the best of them. The lava lamp is, in fact, lighted to my left. Your right. Right over there. Now, that indicates that you can listen and chat at shrmedia.com. You can also watch live on the Big Sarge Media Facebook page. Big Sarge Media Facebook page, the SHR Media Facebook page, and the SHR Media YouTube channel. 3 ways to watch the show simulcasting, thanks to Big Sarge Media for the assistance. That's French for assistance. I got to tell you, we don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversation, politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about it all right here at the saloon. Nothing is sacred. The speech is free, but the booze is not. All we ask is that you, come on now, flush the toilet, jiggle the handle, and don't forget to tip your waitress. Tonight, I got a ton of stories, great happy stories, news updates. A little confusion about something that occurred apparently by way of the Russians, which initially indicated that something bad was happening, and I'll explain about that a little bit later. The show tonight, however, because it's only 2 days before the 4th of July, is Open Line Tuesday. And what I meant by that is I'd like folks, and you can start now, and as a matter of fact, I know I've got somebody on the phone right now. What I mean by that is, for the show tonight, and because I'm not going to be, in lieu of the fact that I'm not broadcasting this Thursday, July 4th, I will be grilling my own great steaks at my very own little house. I'd like you to call in and tell me, all the promos indicated, hey, tell me what you think of the U.S. In other words, what does the United States of America mean to you? And interspersed amongst your phone calls, call anytime. The phone's going to be open for all 2 hours. Listen, chat, crank open your favorite beverage, sit down, have an enchilada or two if you wish. Smoke your favorite cigar with some cognac if you wish, like other writers that I happen to know. Do all of that. As a matter of fact, funny thing is, no, it's not funny. It's happy, and I'm glad he's here. The very first caller is Jeff Dunitz of the Jeff Dunitz Show. And thank you.
I like that guy.
I like that guy. I know that guy. I like that guy. I like him a lot.
Except I hear he's fooling around with my wife.
No. Did you reveal that here first?
No, I think I did it on my show once.
Oh, okay. Well, very sad. Hey.
Okay, I got to say 3 things before I get to the America part.
Okay, all right.
Number 1, today is Independence Day.
Officially, yes, you're right, and I have some audio about that. So, factually, you are technically correct. Yes.
The Lee Amendment, which announced our secession from the Crown, is passed today. Okay? And that's all thanks to Richard Henry Lee. Okay, that was the first thing. Okay? The second thing is that I want everyone to mark their calendars for September 14th.
Ah, okay. All right.
There's going to be a conference in Atlanta all about internet censorship, and they're going to have some really great speakers. You can find out about it on my site. There's a post. And one of the great speakers is that same guy that's fooling around with my wife.
Okay, stop here just for a second. September, I got to write this. I am writing this down. September 14th, a conference in Atlanta.
Yes. The big speaker is Dinesh D'Souza.
Okay, all right. Well, he's not that big. I've heard he's about like 5'6", 5'7". Unless he got lifts. He gets lifts up to 6'5". Other than that, yes, he's a very big speaker. You're right.
So I want everyone to mark that on their calendar.
Okay.
Okay, and more information on my site. And the third thing?
Yes.
Tomorrow marks the return of the Lid Radio Show.
Okay, wait a minute. Oh, shoot. I could have sworn that I had this all ready to go.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Darn, no, I could. I'm looking at my computer, and I could have sworn that I put applause here on my computer, because this is a time that I would want to have applause. No, it's not on there. I'm depressed.
Well, it was very hard for me to get everything working. Okay, I had to buy a new computer because I needed a PC, and I needed motivation. And I had a friend that was kicking my ass and motivating the whole time.
Oh, thanks to Sackhead Sean for that. Good point. Thank you very much.
No, that was you.
I'll tell him. Me?
Okay. Yeah, you kept telling me I got to get back on air, and you motivated me. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. And okay, here is what I wanted. So Jeff is going to be back on the air
tomorrow, 2:00.
They love you.
SHR Media station.
Listen to this. They're going crazy over you.
Yeah. Nothing like a nice recording.
No, it's everybody in the SHR Media studio. This was great. So, okay, you're going to be... I'm sorry. I may have cut you off in terms of time. So what time tomorrow?
2:00 tomorrow.
Okay, 2:00.
And the first guest...
Eastern?
Will be Mr. Ken McClinton.
Ah, Ken, yes.
My brother from a darker mother.
He is, yes, both A and B.
And we're going to have a good time tomorrow. We're going to make fun. You know, who was the congresswoman who said that with the cowboy hat, who says we can't make fun of, if we make fun of members of Congress, we should go to jail.
I know. I saw that, but I can't remember the name because I just saw it in passing.
I guess after the show, I'm going to jail.
Okay. All right. I have a couple of dollars.
I'm not already going to jail because of what I wrote today. Now, let me say something about America, okay?
Please.
This is going to sound really corny, but it's true. About 150 years ago, 140 years ago, okay, my father's father, who wasn't his father yet, and his brothers and his parents had moved from where they were in Russia to Odessa. And they were kicked out of where they were because of the Cossacks weren't crazy about the Jews, and they come around to their town and beat them up. So they moved to Odessa. And guess what? The Cossacks started going after them too. And my father told me the story of how my grandfather, his brothers and sisters, and his parents had to run across roofs in Odessa, okay, to escape them, to make it to a boat and come to America. Okay, now, I don't know if you know this, but I'm Jewish.
Get out!
Yeah, really. There is no other country in the world that they could have gone to that would have accepted them, that would have let them live as Jews. Okay? Okay, America saved my family's life.
Those are pretty
and
strong
that's
words.
What America means to me. Because this is the most free country in the world. Okay? And when my family had to escape from the Russian Cossacks, okay, they went to Galveston, Texas.
Right.
You know, everybody talks about Ellis Island. Well, the other place people went to was Galveston, Texas. And actually they went from there to New Orleans, and then they finally moved to, forget about it, Brooklyn. Okay?
Forget about
There
it.
is, if they went to Europe, they probably would have been killed with their other relatives in the Holocaust. Okay, there was no other country they could have gone to and lived. They stayed in Russia, they would have been killed. As you know, in the 70s, you know, there were millions of Jews who were being oppressed.
Right.
And okay, that's what America means to me. It's not just freedom, which it does. It's really accepted my family and protected them for, you know, over 120 years. I don't know if that's really goofy sounding, but it's the truth.
Well, its criticality is a matter of life and death. You could have stayed where you were, or you could have gone to the United States, and yes, who knows, you know, which boxcar you would have been in, your parents and your family, and which facility you would have gone to, but clearly
and
one of them.
Let me ask you something. I can be pretty critical of the government. I've even criticized, you know, President Trump, but I was really critical about Obama. Could I have done that in any other country and gotten away with it?
Some countries, but not to the extent that you could here.
Right. Okay. This country is the most free. It has the most opportunities. You know, by the way, did I tell you that I solved the whole school loan thing?
No. Trade schools? That was my advocacy.
Well, what I did was I took out loans, I graduated, and I paid them back. Does that work?
Wait. Okay. You did what?
I took out loans, not only for undergraduate, but for graduate school. And then when I got a job, I started paying them back. And I ended up paying them back. And when I was all done and I got the promissory note back, I threw for my friends a I Own My Brains party.
Very nice and very appropriate because what is it?
I felt proud because I paid for most of my college and I paid it back.
Well, isn't it odd how somehow students, and I use the word loosely, air quotes, students somehow get to forfeit loans? I mean, their loans somehow are much more significant or of greater weight and note than loans of anybody else, because after all, a student loan is just that. It's not free money. It's expected to be paid back. And just like when you buy, let's see, shall I buy my 2019 Rolls-Royce Phantom today, or should I buy the Toyota Corolla? It's a choice.
Well, my first car cost $400. It was a 13-year-old Buick Skylark.
My first car was a 1966 four-door Ford Fairlane.
Well, I think it was Sean Spicer who said today that it's really amazing how if you cheat and get your kid into college, you go to jail. But if you cheat to get into the country, you get to go to college for free.
That's right. You get rewarded.
There's something that doesn't work with that.
There's something massively wrong with that. You know what? I'm going to listen to your show tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yes. And folks,
that would be cool.
Here's the funny thing. You can go to the chat room right where you are now at shrmedia.com, and you can talk to the great one over there, Jeff Dunitz. shrmedia.com. You can listen to him live.
Mark Levin's there?
No, you're the great one, sir. You are the great... okay. The greatest... EST. The greatest one.
That was
How about
Muhammad Ali.
I think he said he's just the greatest. I'm adding one.
Let me just say one thing.
Yes, sir.
And this country that protects us all the time is the greatest. Okay?
It is.
There is no other country with the freedom. And I know I sound like jingoistic type of thing, but I tell you something. I'm the one who, when I see the parade with the flag, I cry.
Yes.
And I would have bought the Nike shoes with the Betsy Ross flag.
I may have, but probably not, considering their history. But the option should have been there. The option should have been there if they wanted to make more money. But they had to make a statement. So you want to politicize my shoes? Okay, screw you.
Anyway, so that's kind of like everything America means to me. Freedom to do what I want without messing with other people. Freedom to say what I want. It's not freedom not to be insulted.
No.
Certain thing that liberals don't understand. But there's no other country in the world with this kind of freedom.
No, there is not. Not at all. And I'm hanging on to it as long as I possibly can. And supporting her as long as I possibly can. Jeff Dunnett's
And that's
show.
one of the reasons why I work so hard about exposing the bad stuff.
Yes, because unfortunately there's so much out of it, and we are so challenged these days.
Well, especially on your coast and my coast.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
We both live in occupied territory.
We do. Boy, is that ever true. I tell everybody
But in the end, we're going to say, this country always saves itself. People who don't like Trump, and I'm not saying he's the greatest president like others have that we've ever had, but he's certainly a very good one, okay? And I didn't vote for him because I thought he would be politically correct and say the right thing all the time. Okay, I voted for him because I thought he would do the right thing and stir the pot a little. Okay, and it's funny, There's a song we sing on Hanukkah. Okay, that says, "In every age, a hero or sage comes to our aid," and in a way, Donald Trump is that hero who saved us from Obamaism.
Sometimes it's like, oh God, who said this? You get what you need.
Right.
Would you find some
I
time?
think who said it was Mick Jagger.
Yes. But you find some time. You don't get what you want. You get what you need.
Bingo.
And I think this was the president for this time around. And I believe that absent something very strange, he's going to be around for 2020. And can you imagine the PSH that's going to occur on November 9th of 2020? If you thought it was bad in 16, gird thy loins.
Do you know something? This is going to sound very mean.
Okay. Well, okay. That's okay.
I want to see the liberal's face when he wins re-election.
Oh, we will. And then, like the first compilation, there will be a second compilation. And trust me, the second compilation will be so much more tastier than the first.
Well, that, I have my whole family, except for maybe my brother and my late father, may he rest in peace. We're all liberals, like severe liberals. But, my father died. It was the week before Election Day. However, being in Florida, what he did the day before he died was he voted for Trump.
Good for him. Good for him. His last act on this plane.
Well, it wasn't his last act.
Well,
I mean, I think my brother visited him that weekend, but he did it on Friday and he died on Monday. So, but one of his last patriotic acts was that. And my sister, who's the big liberal, he was living with her. But anyway,
somehow,
she's a good person. She's just stupid politically.
Yeah. Somehow that seems poignant at that point. Quite poignant.
Well, what can I tell you? Anyway,
Jeff Dunitz.
I want to wish everyone a really happy Independence Day today.
Yes.
And have a wonderful July 4th on Thursday. And the big parade that we're having in Washington?
Yes, we are going to have one.
Yes. MSNBC is not going to cover it.
I saw that. To which, now this is visual, folks. If you're listening at shrmedia.com, you won't see this. But if you're streaming, this is what I think of MSNBC right now. And I mean that with all sincerity and all the love that I have within my heart right now. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, the Jeff Dunitz Show, shrmedia.com, where the folks that are in chat, that's you right there. You can be in the chat room for Jeff's show tomorrow, Wednesday, with his first guest in quite some time, the act you've known for all these years, Sir Kenneth McClinton, Esquire.
And don't turn on your television because my show isn't being covered by MSNBC either.
How depressing. And yet at the same time, how engaging and uplifting.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. You have a happy July 4th.
Thank you.
Take care, my friend.
Very much. I'll be grilling a steak, medium rare to rare, for you in your honor.
Using gas, I hope.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I don't do briquettes. I do gas.
Well, yeah. And after I eat it, I do more gas. But that's something totally
That's a tale for another day.
You be well, my friend. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thanks, Jeff.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, that was Jeff Dunitz. Love the heck out of Jeff. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we have somebody else on the line. So welcome. I do not know you. Please identify yourself, ma'am or sir.
BZ, it's Carrie Donovan.
Carrie, how do you do? Haven't heard about you in a while. I send out an invite to lots of folks, and there you are. Thank you ever so kindly. Carrie, I greatly appreciate that.
Hey, I greatly appreciate you thinking right in and waste no time because I love this topic.
I do too. I did it because a lot of people already know, and Jeff talked about it. I'm sure you heard Jeff.
Yes,
Today is actually Independence Day. It wasn't made official until July 4th, but today is the official day. Let's stop right now. Let's stop here just for a second. I got it 5 more minutes before the bottom of the hour break. For those people, and I do have some others who are new listeners because I sent out social media to some different places today.
Good for you. Yeah.
Tell some folks who you are and where you can be found on social media, because I want to introduce you folks who don't know her. This is Carrie Baxter Donovan. This is the person that I customarily introduce as my East Coast political goddess, or ECPG. And Carrie has been around on the show for almost 2 years. She is a staple here in the saloon, and I hail her whenever she is on. And so in that light, before we get into what you want to say about the United States, tell folks where you can be found on social media and any place that you might be writing these days.
Well, I'm actually, so thank you very much. Your intro is always so kind, and I appreciate that. I'm actually taking a break. I got invited to do some writing at a couple of new sites, but I'm going to wait until the fall. So currently I am... my daughter the other day asked me, Mom, will you please stop doing your writing and doing your political stuff for a while and take me around and do homeschooling? So that's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, cool.
I'm spending a lot of time with my daughter. I have been writing. I was over at Patriot Soapbox. I had a show there. I was doing some great interviews with a lot of really great Americans. I want to tell you all about that sometime. But currently I am at Saorsa, SAORSA, 1776 on Twitter, and I am in a mood today. So if you go to my Twitter account, you will see I'm very surly. I'm like all over the place surly. I haven't been drinking, although I feel like it after all these leftists. I am in the saloon. Hello, I like whiskey. But yeah, so I'm at Saorsa 1776 and Carrie Baxter Donovan on Facebook. And then in the fall, I'll have some new places where I'm hanging out and doing some writing and interviewing.
Very, very nice. And you'll be on in the saloon as well. I will be asking you back, even though you're not on your own show. But in the interim, you will still be on my show. We'll be making arrangements because I always enjoy having you back on. But you called for a reason, and I asked people like you to call and tell us, since this is the 2nd of July and in lieu of the 4th of July, what does the United States mean to you, Carrie Baxter Donovan?
So the United States of America is my obsession, and I think about it from the time my feet hit the floor in the morning until I lift them off the floor at night. That's all I think about, America. And I'm a daughter of the American Revolution, so I have a number of patriots, a couple who were in Concord and Lexington. I have studied, their history. I know a lot about them and the lineage through when you become a daughter of the American Revolution, they do all this genealogy. They're really hardcore on it, and you have to talk about battles and things like that. So I know the specific battles they were involved in. Okay. And the one that really impresses me the most is called the Battle of Oriskany, and that was in New York. Okay. And that's along the Mohawk. There are movies that are written about these guys are hardcore, right? So all I can think about is, I'm a homeschooler, and I'm an American woman. And being an American woman the secret is, being an American woman is probably the greatest blessing on the face of the planet because of America, because of these warriors and these people who are obsessed with liberty and who fought for us. We have these untold blessings. I homeschool. I use my blessings, too. I use my freedoms. I homeschool my own kids. My kids are doing awesome. You would not believe what my kids are doing now.
Listen, I've been watching your social media. You bet. I've been watching your social media, your Facebook page, your Twitter feed, and you've been touting your kids, and I think that is absolutely fabulous that you've been doing that.
And I do. Thank you very much. And the reason why I do it is I want to make sure that people understand, I took advantage of every single shred of liberty I could get my hands on, my freedom, my right to raise my own children. I get very excited about it. I get very passionate about it. I'm on fire for homeschooling. It's the greatest decision that I've ever made in my life. And that's because I'm an American. And that's because of all of the men and women who have served for me. You know, they have provided this. It raises goosebumps up on me when I think of the freedoms that I have, especially as a woman, you know, in this world. And I tell my daughter, you don't really understand what women are going through around the globe. Here in America, we are so spoiled. We are so pampered. Take advantage of it and always make sure to look back and be thankful to those people who provided it. Make sure you use every ounce of it. Do good things. Tell other people. Go tell the good news, right? And, I love America. I'm so glad to talk about this topic. I'm glad that you have this as your topic.
Carrie Baxter Donovan, can you hang on for 5 minutes during the bottom of the hour break? And I'd like to bring you back, and I'd like you to continue about what the United States means to you.
Awesome.
Would you be willing?
I'd be glad to.
Okay,
yes.
Great. Thanks, folks. That was Carrie Baxter Donovan. She will hang on. She'll be right back after the break. And I am BZ, the Bloviating Zeppelin. You are listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHRmedia.com studios. And also, if you want to call after Carrie, it's 209-284-3210. 209-284-3210. I'll put that in the chat room as well. And I hate it when people say the number is 209-284-3210. 209-284-3210. Right back after this. Hello.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
New show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is July the 2nd, the year of our Lord 2019. I am the Bloviating Zeppelin. You are listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct from the sumptuous, palatial, and now resplendent SHR Media Studios, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. Tonight I asked any number of people, and you can do it too, to call in and tell everyone listening, now live in the chat room and also in podcast, what the United States of America means to you. Jeff Dunnett's called in at the very beginning of the show. Now I've got Carrie Baxter Donovan, who was talking about what America means to her. She gave us her social media. She had her own radio show for a while. She is a great homeschooler. I've had her on numerous times. Carrie, what does the United States of America mean to you?
So it means everything. Mostly liberty. It means liberty. So I don't know where else you can go in the world to get the quality of liberty that we have here. And mostly I use it for talking about all of my conservative economic ideas, free enterprise, small business, but homeschooling is really, that's what I was talking about, is really where I have, I've really walked out the liberty and the freedom to make mistakes, fall on your butt, get back up again, and do it my own way. And I have 3 kids. So 2 of them are in college. My oldest is 21, and he's got an internship right now. He'll be a senior in college. My 16-year-old is also going to be a senior in college, and he's getting a degree in computer science.
That's incredible.
And so when my older son gets out of college, he'll be looking at a starting fee as a chemical and biomolecular engineer. It's about probably $80,000 or $90,000 starting for him. My son Steven, when he gets done with his degree, he's looking at walking out of college, with people offering to, the moon and the stars for somebody like what he has and what he's capable of doing. He'll probably, he'll start out at something like $100,000, $200,000, depending on who he talks to and, what they need him to do. He will be 17 years old. And my daughter, Hope, who is 11.
That's incredible.
And I had a conversation with her the other day, and I said, we're sitting here talking about what kinds of things you might like to do with your life, and I want you to realize right now, sitting here as an American woman, we're talking about you can do anything that you want to do. That's incredible for a woman. It is because of America. It is because of all of the men and women who have served this country, who have sacrificed for this country. People went, bankrupt. We know the history of how our country was founded. I want you to never forget that. And those are the things. My kids are the most important thing to me. The liberty to raise my children in peace, in safety, for them to get an education, to live up to their potential, right? Without the government trying to come in and tell me where they should belong or what I had to teach them. Now, a lot of people fall into the trap of the government telling them what to do, and they get pushed around and bullied. You have to grab your freedom, and you have to, like a honey badger, right? You have to grab it and be willing to fight for it. We still do have that here in America, but we have the potential of doing it, right? Of getting that freedom to raise our children so that our children can live up to their potential. That is just so exciting. So I get very excited to talk about that kind of stuff. On 4th of July, I will be leading a reading in the public square of the Declaration of Independence. It's something that I do every year. And somebody had invited me to go and do this because it was his idea, and he organizes everything. But he's from India. He's actually a Brahmin from India. Okay? And he loves America so much that he literally said, he has his servants come and sit with him, and they say, "Oh my gosh, you're American." He is so Americanized now. But he loves America so much, and he wants to give that love of America. I've never seen anybody so patriotic in my life, and he chose me because he said, "You're a daughter of the American Revolution. I want you to come and lead this ceremony." And I'll tell you, the kids come. We read the Declaration of Independence. It's just, that's so exciting to do that. And then we go through and we talk about what happened to the founders, the people who signed that piece of paper, what happened to them afterwards. And that's not a happy story. Those people went through a lot to give us what we have. And so, that's what America means to me, that someone invested into my freedom, so therefore I need to do something good with it. I mean, I take that seriously. I'm a total geek about it. And I've told my kids that too. So that's what it means.
America, does it not say that its job is to attempt to give you the greatest opportunity for everyone? At no time or place did it ever begin to guarantee any sort of an outcome. The outcome, ladies and gentlemen, is up to you. It's up to you as the individual. You are, in terms of what I know about you, a great American, a great mother, because you have, and this is what so many people lack, you have a plan. When you had kids, you had a plan, whatever you did, whatever you needed to do to sacrifice to enable that plan so that your kids at 17 can be graduating colleges. They can plan things, the jobs that they were taking, the things that you shared with them along that route when they were growing up in terms of education, in terms of socialization, etc. Because it's a two-pronged sword when you're homeschooling, and you had a plan and you followed the plan. And the plan wasn't to get a degree in intramural underwater basket weaving
right.
or naval
not at all.
or navel gazing studies or women's touchy groups or studies of that nature. Your job as a mother was to make sure that your kids could be as well-rounded and independent of anyone else as possible. And that is, to me, one of the more glorious things about you. Occasionally, you and I may disagree. That's fabulous. But I've said again, I'm a sheepdog. I will always be a sheepdog. You cannot rip the sheepdog out of me because it is inbred. It will be in me until the day I die. And it is for people like you and the other people that listen to this show that I would gladly give my life for, been shot at numerous times, etc., as long as we have the United States of America that the Founding Fathers wanted. People like us, you don't want to piss us off. We take a lot of crap in America, but America can only take so much. 2020 is going to be a big year. Carrie Baxter Donovan, is it not?
Oh, I feel like we keep saying it's going to be a bloodbath. I think it already is a bloodbath now. I mean, I'm in 2020 now, even though I promised Hope I would get out of, back out of some politics. I would back out of some of my stuff that I'm doing, but it's like the air I breathe. So I'm in it already, and I feel like it's already a bloodbath. My big story that I'm still working on is two things. One of them is I started a little hashtag called 100 Leaflets, and I'm trying to convince people that even though we're getting censored online, we're the pamphleteers of the American Revolution. We can just go back to old school, put it down on a piece of paper, do 100 leaflets on your activism and get it out there. Don't sit around and say, oh, I'm censored, I can't get out anywhere. Then let's go back to old school, paper, right? Pen and paper, put it down, make copies 100 and send them around. So I'm doing 100 leaflets, I'm still doing that. The other thing is I'm trying to convince people to make sure in every state that they're in that they are eligible to vote in the primaries. And in North Carolina, you can be an independent and vote in the Democrat or the Republican primary. So I'm at war right now with the Republicans here in North Carolina because I do not like who they're putting up. And so many people, like here in North Carolina, only 28% of people who are eligible to vote voted in a primary. That's how these political parties keep screwing us, because we don't show up to those primaries. So I'm trying to convince people you've got to figure out how you are eligible to vote in that primary. If you have to be a Republican, be a Republican. Then change it, do whatever. Here in North Carolina, you can be an independent or a Republican and still choose that Republican candidate. So I think it's going to be a bloodbath, and we need all hands on deck. We need people out there with their activism. And I think President Trump last week said at Faith and Freedom Coalition conference, whatever it was, speech he gave, and he said he wanted conservatives to get active, and that really concerned a lot of people. I saw a lot of comments, and because conservatives don't think of themselves as activists, right? And some of them, we're not the kind of activist kinds of people, like we don't get in the streets. And I was trying to convince them, like, no, it's so much more than that. And especially conservatives, because they're usually the people who have observed so much and who have really a pathway to victory, but they don't tell people what they know. So I'm saying, remember what President Trump said about getting active? Get out there, get your point out. Put it down on a piece of paper then if you feel like you're being censored or you can't put your name on it. Tell people, if you need something to tell people, tell them, go vote in a primary, would you? Come on. We can't keep letting these political parties dictate to us who our candidates are. That's a problem right there, right?
That's a very big problem.
So that's how I see it. It is going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be huge. What I see is, we say that every time, this is it. It's communism. That's the way I look at it.
But it really is.
I'm
obsessed
with the art of war and the American Revolution, and I'm like, everything is a war to me. I'm going to fight it.
The leftists have pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to the point where you're having people actively advocating Democrat socialism. Well, it's not Democrat socialism. It's socialism. Socialism leads to communism. And let's see, that's good for at least 150 million people killed in the past 100,000 years, because that always works so well. Everyone seems to think that socialism, the new guy, the next guy, can always do socialism so much better than the last guy. Witness Venezuela, for example. 2 prognostications for you, Carrie Baxter Donovan. Number 1, print media is going to come back. I'm saying this to you right now. When you're watching the decimation of newsrooms all across the United States, do you know who's going to bring it back? Conservatives, because we're being pushed out of the digital realm. So we're going to find a voice, and the voice is going to be back in the print media. That's prognostication number 1. And because of the digital realm versus the analog realm, prognostication number 2 is terrestrial radio is going to come back as well. Ron Edwards made that point to me. And I believe those 2 things are in our future. More terrestrial radio stations, because we're going to lose. I eventually may very well lose being able to speak to everybody here if leftists have their way in 2020. They don't want to hear my voice. They don't want to hear your voice. They don't want to hear anybody in chat. All the rest of you people in chat, all the people that are listening to me right now, All the people that are listening in podcast, as far as leftists are concerned, you can all go straight to hell.
Oh yeah, it is. It's really evident now. Now I've been shadow banned for years, and when I first started talking about shadow ban, I believe I had to explain it to you because it was like so many people didn't even know what it was.
Yes.
Now it's pretty common,
and
we've been conditioned to be okay. Well, conservatives are just shadow banned. We are just banned off the internet. I was timed out yesterday, I think it was, for mouthing off to somebody, an Indian woman, and I told her I'm not going to be lectured to by a first generation immigrant here telling me that I'm a white woman and I don't have the right to not vote for Hillary. I got into a thing with her and I got timed out on Twitter, which is kind of funny because she can say whatever she wants and I can say nothing. But I'm going to go out fighting. I've already accepted that I'm going to get my whole entire Twitter account is going to get taken away at some point. All of my social media is. And I think, you know what? Then good. Let's go back old school. Let's go back to local newspapers.
We are going to go back to old school.
We do not have to lay down and die.
It may take a while.
It's not going to kill us. And this is the homeschooler in me. You're kidding, right? I mean, go ahead, ban me. I'll just go around you. I'll just figure out something else. That's what I did with homeschooling. I had a plan. I love that you said that about for my kids. I had a plan. And when my son was 1 year old, I'm not even kidding you, I was part of a study. It was a strategic study for curriculum in the school district, and it ended up to be a Common Core pilot program, and that was 22 years ago. I've been talking about Common Core for 22 years. And anyway, when I came out of that, it was a year-long process, and I can tell you all about that sometime. But when I came out of that, I said to myself, I'm going to go and figure out what it will be like the year that my son is graduating from high school, and what will college entry counselors be looking for at that point, because people do projections like that all the time, right?
Yep.
They just throw out all their ideas. So I just gathered up a bunch of them and wrote out sort of like an algorithm and went, oh, okay, look, here, this seems to be a common thread. And if I can teach my son this thing, that when he gets to that point, he's going to be head and shoulders above other people because he's going to have that thing. And then he's going to be able to get into the college that he wants. So I'm constantly thinking of how can I play the system, right? How can I go around people? How can I go under them? How can I steal what I want out of the hands of them trying to take it away from me? How can I get it back?
And I just told you two ways right there. Mark my words, Carrie Baxter Donovan, that crap is coming back. Everything
I want it to.
Becomes new again.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
So that's what I came up with, this thing 100 leaflets. Why are we sitting around crying and whining? We're not under their thumb. I am not going to be under some communist thumb. That's not going to happen.
No.
So what could we do? We can put it back in print. Right now, I'm not the only person. You and I are not the only people who have figured this out. So that's what America means. We can be innovative.
Thank you.
Nothing is finite. Nothing is over. Nothing is done.
That's right. The fat lady has not sung. And I got to tell you, folks, BZ here has always had a thing for not very thin women, because if for no other reason, in uncertain times, it gives you something more substantial with which to hold. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, there's
a song about that out there somewhere, isn't there?
It could be.
It's all about the bass. You don't want me to start singing, but I believe those are song lyrics.
Yeah, there could be. I don't know about that. Carrie Baxter Donovan, thank you ever so kindly. I'm going to have you back in the saloon. Thank you for being here tonight, ma'am.
Hey, thank you. And happy 2nd of July, 3rd of July, 4th of July, every single year, Liberty.
That's
Love
right.
It. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. 243 years ago today.
Awesome. God bless America.
You bet. God bless America.
Have a great night.
Thank you, ma'am. That was Carrie Baxter Donovan. I think we've got Mike on. Mike, are you there, sir?
I am here, BZ.
I know you probably had the speakerphone on. You're going to the bathroom, making yourself a BLT. Had to go out.
No, I had the phone on mute, and I was listening to Carrie doing her thing, so that's what I was doing.
Walked the dog, cleaned the fish tank, balanced your checkbook, vacuumed the living room. I get it. I know.
Yeah. You know what freedom means to me? You know what the 4th of July means to me? It means the freedom to pull yourself, to have your family pull themselves up by the bootstraps where you can eventually become president.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Or the freedom to do some less than reputable things for somebody in your family to eventually become president. See Joe Kennedy. You know?
Well, yeah, that's a story for another day.
That's part of the freedom, though.
It is.
You know, freedom to be poor, but again, being poor in America is different than being poor in, you know, Africa or south of the border, you know, places like that.
Okay,
you know,
that
poor
deserves
in America
this.
means the kids might have a cell phone, or you're going to have maybe 1,000 square foot house, or maybe even rent something. You know, that's what poor means here. You know, freedom means that you can destroy things with impunity, like the Democrats have done at times. You know, freedom means you can rebuild things with impunity, with like our president is trying to do. You know, that's what the 4th of July means to me.
Well, Mike, I'll tell you this. Do you have anything planned? And for me, just because of the nature of a lot of stuff, I'm going to be grilling. My wife is going to be grilling. We're into, and you can look, you know, at the video and you can see visually what kind of a person that I am. And it's it's no strange thing that I am the bloviating Zeppelin because I opine. And I also indicated Zeppelin because, well, all you have to do is look at me and see that I am Zeppelin-like. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
You mainly said it several times. You're in shape. You're round, but you're in shape.
That's right. Damn it. Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. I'm in shape.
And look,
round is a shape.
Look, the thing with, and I do agree with your fellow that says that the terrestrial radio is going to come back, but that's after it's been sort of kind of destroyed by, you've had Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity, but it's been sort of destroyed by you know, the liberals trying to regulate it to death and doing all kinds of stuff and saying they want more minority-owned radio stations, but putting in policies that make that impossible and all that stuff, you know. And so that's another freedom, to destroy things and to rebuild things, like I said before. And that's what we're fighting here. We're fighting to build things back up again.
Yes, we are. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be rebuilt. Mike, thank you very much on a number of levels. Let me tell you this. Thank you for listening so consistently. You have been a very consistent listener, and I appreciate that. And thank you for being a devotee of the show. And thank you for listening. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for being here so frequently in chat. And thanks for calling and telling us what you happen to think of the United States of America. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you, Mike. Uh-oh. Did Mike hang up? Mike hung up. Okay. All right. I used to listen to the Hugh Hewitt show. And if I ever get to I told myself that if I ever get to the point where I have so many damn people that are calling, that I can do this with impunity. I'm going to tell people, all right, you're a terrible caller. Hang up on yourself. Apparently, Mike took it to heart, and he hung up on himself. So I have somebody else, a brand new caller. Who are you? And identify yourself kindly.
It is me, Alan, from the Squatch Zone.
Alan Thomas spoke to you last Thursday. Now, again, for folks that don't happen to know Alan, tell us where you can be found on social media, and also where you can be found, because you too have a radio show with a very unique specialty. And what is that, sir?
I do everything paranormal, and I specialize in the big hairy guys, the Squatch. And you can find me on YouTube with the Squatch Zone, and you can find me on Facebook as Squatch Zone. So it's really easy. Squatch Zone. Just Google it, and you found me.
And by the way, you need to subscribe to his channel, because if you do, then when he has a show, then bing, you get a notification, and you can listen to him. And
I actually put up some pretty good video. Edited video.
Did you do
and
some?
I'll be doing that for the next, 3 weeks. I've been doing a lot of field work, so I'll be bringing those videos every week, not live, but recorded.
So you've been editing, folks. I should tell you, Alan Thomas is a great and wonderful paranormal UFO, unexplained, Bigfoot, Sasquatch investigator, hunter, researcher, etc. Knows tons of stuff about all of that, but he's also an owner of what I would consider to be one of the most enviable drones around, which I've looked at your video, dude, and your stuff is great. Already your stuff is really good. So what you're saying is you have new edited video up at your site?
Yeah, I just put it up like yesterday or the day before. I can't remember because I'm like knee deep in video editing, and see, I used to do this. This is what I like about America. Okay, a long time ago, in a different lifetime for me, I had my own video production company.
Oh, cool!
And I did videos, and I traveled around the world, and one of the places I traveled was Africa. And I landed in 3 different countries in Africa, and we didn't just, I guess, like, when you get there, the very best places in the countries we were in were almost the very worst places in America at the time in 1987.
Can you hang on right there, Alan Thomas? I got to go to a break. Can you come back right after the break? Or can you hold for a little bit? Okay, great. Folks, this is Alan Thomas, and I'm BZ, and this is the Berserk Bobcat Saloon, and we're going to be right back after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It's 5 minutes after 9 o'clock on the left coast. It's 5 minutes after midnight on the right coast. I am BZ, the Bloviating Zeppelin. You're listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network. I've been asking people all night, what does the United States of America mean to you? And in honor of the 4th of July, July 2nd is also when things actually got going. It's the official day, shall we say. But I've been lucky enough to have a lot of folks call in, and we're talking now to Alan Thomas, who's been on the show frequently, a Sasquatch, Bigfoot, unexplained paranormal UFO investigator, hunter, researcher, etc. But Alan Thomas, what does the United States, what does the USA mean to you on this very special day?
It is everything. Everything. Back in the day, I traveled to Africa, and way in the deepest, like, part of the jungle where people didn't wear clothes.
Okay.
And AIDS was running rampant. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were killing people because they had AIDS, just because they had AIDS. And I watched a few people get shot in the head, and no judge, no jury, no anything. Then a week later, I watched the president of the country execute 100 people because he didn't agree with, or they didn't agree with his way of ruling, right? The way he did things. And they told me that the walls have ears, so don't ever say anything against the country or especially the president. When I got back to America, I kissed the ground, actually really got on the ground and kissed it, because we have something really special here, and if we don't hang on to it, we're going to lose it. And there's some people really trying to take it away from us, and we really need to start getting vocal, because America, we have freedoms. We can travel where we want to. We can do what we want to. We used to be able to own guns and buy ammo and go shooting
in California.
We want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now, like I used to reload thousands of rounds and then go shoot them off every weekend. And now I have to get background checks starting this month, to do that. So
yes, yesterday,
I really
starting
don't
yesterday.
Like what's going on in America, but I love America. I think we have a chance in America. We need to back our president. We need to wipe out Antifa, and go after them guys. They're anti-American. They shouldn't even be here. We should ship them off to the deepest parts of Africa where they don't wear clothes and they shoot people that act like them.
It's funny who the folks that appreciate America the most seem to be the people that have come from without, and there's a reason for that, familiarity being one thing, and have a greater appreciation for the country. If I was smart, what I would have done is gotten Lily Tang Williams on here. Lily Tang Williams, I don't know if folks you recognize her. Lily Tang Williams ran for Congress in Colorado. She didn't make it. She's a libertarian. I met her at the Freedom Fest in 2016 and 2017, both years. I had her on the show. She's a Chinese immigrant. She lived during communist China under the oppression of Mao. That's her background. When she came here, she did the exact same thing. Alan Thomas. Lily Tang Williams kissed the ground here in America, one of the biggest fighters for freedom and liberty that you can ever think of. I was blessed to have her on the show about a year and a half ago. Damn, I need to have her back. And if I was smart, I would have lined her up for tonight. I didn't even think about that. Shame on me. But her story is amazing. She loves America. She adores America with every fiber of her being. What an incredible story, and what a solid, great person she is. If there ever were a freedom fighter, one of the first people that I should have thought of is Lily Tang Williams. What a story she has. Okay, I got to have her back. That's all there is to it. Folks, if you want to find out who she is, go to YouTube. I think she's got a lot of videos there. Lily, L-I-L-Y, Tang, T-A-N-G, Williams, common spelling. And you'll find her story. Her story is amazing, compelling, and after the trials and tribulations that she's been through, if you don't get a little stop in your throat after listening to her story, you're not an American. I got to have her back. And that's another reason that you appreciate what you have now is you've seen the other side of the coin, and so many Americans have not. And as far as they're concerned, just... these freedoms, not hard fought, not hard won. It's just, and it's a terrible country. Right.
Man, they have no idea how great this country is. And a lot of them that are born, since probably Vietnam War, have no idea what it took to keep America the way it is.
Yes.
And we're not speaking German, we're not speaking Japanese, and we're still free. And they think that that's wrong. I remember, like, when I was a kid, I was probably 8 years old, and I had a Stingray. Remember those with the banana seat?
I coveted the Stingray.
The big sissy bar.
Yep, never got one, but I loved it.
I had a big sissy bar on the back, and I tied American biggest flag I could find, and I tied it to it, and I was proudly riding it around the neighborhood. And when I stopped, the flag hit the ground, and some neighbors come flying out. I mean, more than one. I mean, 3 different houses. These people come running out and start getting after me for letting the flag touch the ground.
Yep.
And taught me a lesson about the flag and what America, what it means and everything. And I never let the flag touch the ground ever again.
A lesson learned, and a lesson well learned.
Yeah, you don't see that now. You don't even hear about that kind of thing anymore. But it was a big deal in the 60s and probably the early 70s. But it's slowly going away, man. We need to get that back. We do.
Absolutely. Alan Thomas, thank you ever so kindly for being here tonight. And thank you for calling in and letting us know what America means to you, sir. I greatly appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and we shall see you soon, sir.
All righty. Squatch Zone. Go to there on YouTube. Squatch Zone for Alan Thomas. Also, I got to tell you, speaking of somebody that I've recently spoken to, there's an individual on the phone right now who is in sort of a unique situation that we spoke about last week. Jack Alexander, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, BZ. Nice to talk to you again.
It's great to talk to you. It's interesting that Alan Thomas led in with having gone to another country and then being appreciative of America when he came back. You're in Australia right now, which is in the midst of winter, and you're trying to get into the United States of America, which, as we discovered last week, is a massive, huge story in and of itself. But rather than tell your story, I'd rather you tell it and ask you the same question. Jack Alexander, what does America mean to you? What does the United States of America mean to you?
Let me answer the second part of that first. Now, as we discussed last week, I'm retired Special Forces, and within the Australian military, Special Forces guys don't get welcome home parades when they get deployed. They have a formal mess function. The Prime Minister, certain political figures turn up. Even our family members don't get invited to this. So, you know, in that respect, I sort of feel of a kinship to a lot of the guys that came back from Vietnam who didn't get their welcome home parade. My first 4th of July, I was doing some work in Colorado Springs, and that was my first 4th of July. And I went off and I was invited to take part in a float of military families. Some had just come back from the sound box. Some were family members who are currently deployed. Others were recently recent discharges from the military. And even though I was Australian, that I still consider this to this day my welcome home parade, because so many people came up to me and said, look, thank you. Australia has always been one of America's strongest allies. Thank you for supporting us. And, you know, that sort of thing has always stuck in my mind. And, you know, it gets my eyes nice and moist.
Yes, it does.
It was just funny that I had to go to another country to be welcomed home. And, you know, so you want to know what when I get to the United States, it doesn't matter even if I'm landing in occupied California or or I try and get out in DFW to be closer to my place in Texas. I always get that feeling of it's nice to be home. You know, get through the border control there, and I am home. And, you know, that's what it's meant to me. It's just a shame, now to get back to the first part of the question, that those of us who were not born in the United States, that love it with every fiber of our being, are being punished physically, emotionally, and financially.
Yes, always.
I mean, they've just raised the cost for the next round of applications from $450 per person to $1,200 per person. So whether you get approved or not, just to submit the paperwork, you know, that's, you know, on top of all the lawyers' fees and everything else. And let's face it, the lawyers aren't cheap. They're going to stiff you for $8 to $10 grand just to fill in the paperwork to help you out. And then you know, you're looking, you know, in my case, I mean, you know, there's another $8,000 just to apply. And you know, if I go to Tijuana, buy a sombrero and a hijab and rock up at San Ysidro and say, I'm Juan Alejandro Mustafa Mohammed Ramirez, I'm a trans Mexican Muslim, I'll be welcomed with open arms. I'll have a snap card with $1,000 per person coming in with me, and all of this stuff for violating America's laws. Yet they're financially punishing those of us that do it, and it's just absolutely tragic, annoying, frustrating, aggravating. I mean, there are so many words.
It's obscene. Think of the money that you could have saved, and I say this a bit tongue-in-cheek, and humor is funny. This may or may not be so funny, but humor is funny because it always contains at least a couple of elements of truth. You could have spent, I don't know, $2,000 for a coyote, come north over the southern border, and saved all of that money yourself. Maybe gotten a tan, in a tanning bed for 2 or 3 weeks, and painted your hair a little bit darker, and grown a longer mustache, and then gotten here and kind of disappeared for a while, because even if we found you, we wouldn't make you go back. Even if you were issued a citation, you wouldn't have to appear. And this is that we are penalizing people, and I'm going to go somewhere with this, someplace that a lot of people there's going to be a sharp intake of breath when I say this, but I happen to believe it's true. There are people, you shouldn't have to be penalized like this. That our system exists in this fashion is a disgrace upon itself. When we talk about comprehensive immigration reform, that absolutely must be a concomitant. Huge part of immigration reform is streamlining the system itself for people that want to obey the rules. But the part where there'll be a sharp intake of breath is, my friend, I'll tell you the truth. You're a Caucasoid. And one of the reasons that you're not one of the glamorous few is that as far as leftists are concerned, we're full up. And unless you're somebody that's going to be guaranteed to vote leftist or Democrat, we're not much interested in you. Now, it makes me wonder, Jack Alexander, and I'm going to ask you this question because I'm going to be curious what your answer is. Have you ever thought for any reason, and now is the time for you to say what you can, what you will, when you want on this show, as long as we can, has it ever passed through your wheelhouse where you've thought, I wonder if my ethnicity really has anything to do with somebody looking at either my photograph or my name of Jack Alexander and going, yeah, you know what? We really are full up of these people right now. Next.
Oh, yeah, I believe race is a big part of it because, I've heard of other people who are not Latino or not Muslim who have overstayed their visas. There was an Australian professional rodeo rider. Because of a travel delay or something, from a rodeo he was on, he missed his flight out, and he was departing the very last day that he was eligible to be in the country. He rocked up at the airport and was going through stuff. They wanted to see, or he got a speeding ticket. Somehow he wound up on the radar of law enforcement. So I'm guessing it must have been a speeding ticket or something. They said, "Oh, okay, this is an Australian driver's license. Do you have a visa?" Hang on, this expired 2 days ago. Well, yeah, we got held up because of some bad weather or stuff. Oh, right, gets arrested because he's overstayed his visa, is held in detention for the better part of 6 to 8 weeks, and then banned from entering the United States, even though he was on his way to catch the airplane out.
You hear stories like this, and it makes, with me, I don't have that much to spare, but it makes the little flecks of enamel come off my damn teeth when I hear crap like that. It's absolutely infuriating.
I look back and I added it all up when we were speaking last week. I've probably spent $250,000 chasing my dream to immigrate my family to the United States, and I'll have to spend probably another 10 to 20 this time around. It's money that I could have invested in my business. It's money that I could have grown to create jobs for Americans in America.
Yes, you have to be a damn Kuwaiti sheik before you can afford to get in here.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, and yet that money would have helped the U.S. economy in such a way, in such a longer-lasting way than just taxing the snot out of me.
Yep. Yeah, which essentially it is. One final question. I got two more callers that are waiting to come on. One final question for you, Jack Alexander. Do you see any light at the end of the tunnel? Is there anything to indicate some kind of a time frame where you may achieve your goal?
At this stage, unless I was to find an employer that was willing to take on the responsibility, me funding it myself, no. There's not a light at the end of the tunnel. After we spoke last week, I got on to all 20 of the Democrat candidates' offices that spoke and said, okay, we know what you want to do for people coming into the country illegally. What are you going to do to make it easier for those of us who are trying to do it legally? And I kid you not, every single one of their officers hung up on me.
Oh, hell yeah. You're no guarantor of voting for them in perpetuity. And if you're not interested in doing that, they're not interested in you. I don't think it's much more complicated than that.
And sadly, even when I've called Republican officers, I get a very similar response. Even those people that keep talking about, we've got to do something about the border. Yes, we do. But what are you going to do to help those, encourage people to do it legally? And it's just click.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee.
Yeah, no, it's not going to get any easier anytime soon. If anything, it's probably going to get harder, or you've got to take the criminal route.
This is one of the reasons that I've said the problem exists on both sides of the aisle, because if it didn't exist on both sides of the aisle, what you would have pushed when the Republicans had power and controlled all three forms, House, Senate, Oval Office, is you would have had E-Verify in place right now. Not suggested or hinted at, but mandatory E-Verify to make sure that somebody isn't illegal and therefore you can't hire them. But the Republicans are not huge fans of that. The hypocrisy is rampant on both sides of the aisle.
Absolutely. Anyway, BZ, have a great 4th of July.
Thank you very much, sir. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you most kindly for calling in. And I am going to have you back on the show again because you've got great stories, sir.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, Jack. Happy 4th. All right. We have another person who is on, and let's see. Go ahead, unknown caller. Let's see. Thank you for holding. I greatly appreciate it. And what are your thoughts about what the United States of America means to you?
So, this is me, BZ.
This is
Simone.
This is Simone. Okay, Simone, thank you for holding. I greatly appreciate it.
And I don't want to take up a lot of time because you have other callers waiting on hold.
You got 3 minutes. You can, if you want 3 minutes, take 3 minutes, and that's what it is before the bottom of the hour break. You want it, you take it.
Well, my mother and grandmother were born and raised in Mexico City.
Okay.
So I'm a first-generation American. And I funded my way through college. And I paid my student loan back. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Just listening.
Okay. I paid my student loan back, and when I went on to get my master's degree and got married, my husband helped me pay my student loan back for my master's degree. And I feel very grateful to have been born in a country where I can pick my clothing, I can pick the job I want. My family, I was the first person in my family to even go to college and graduate. So I feel really blessed. And even though I'm first-generation American, I haven't been cut any slack because I'm a woman. and I look Caucasian, but I speak Spanish, and I don't get any slack cut for me on that.
No, probably not.
But it doesn't matter because I want to be, competitive. I want to promote and do good things based on my own abilities and not because, I'm the right color or the right sex or have the right color hair or anything like that. And it's really sad. Everybody's fighting to get into this country. It's just really sad because I look at the way San Francisco is. I look at the way San Diego is. And there's so many homeless people. We don't even take care of our own Americans. Why are we letting everyone else flood in illegally?
You make an excellent point. It's a point that is not in favor with leftists. Thank you for calling in. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a great 4th of July. And, of course, because you're a consistent listener and caller, you are obviously welcome to call back anytime. I appreciate and thank you for your point of view. Basically, what you're saying is you just want to be like every other American. As much of an opportunity as possible, fully cognizant of the fact that there are no guarantors of any kind of an outcome.
Well, I don't think there should be a guarantor. I mean, I agree with what you said about people going to college and then they take underwater basket weaving and then they're like, I can't find a job.
Yeah.
Well, because, there's not a big industry for underwater basket weaving. Or they take art classes. And unless your dad owns the museum, not a whole lot of people hiring for art history.
Yeah, not much demand.
So, you got to be smart. But anyway, I don't want to tie up the phone too much. I just wanted to call in and say that I'm proud to be an American. I'm a first-generation American. My grandfather was a first-generation American. He came from Ireland.
Nice, very nice.
That's kind of cool. And I wanted to say happy 4th of July to everyone. And just remember it's an Independence Day. We fought a country that didn't want us to have guns, and we won.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes, God, I can't. There's a cartoon column that said something similar to, we have fought the worst enemy imaginable, and it was ourself.
Right? Anyway, BC, have a great 4th of July. Everybody in chat, have a great 4th of July. Have a safe 4th of July. And I'll hook up with y'all next time you're on, BC.
Great.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very much, Simona. Greatly appreciate it. Folks, we're going to be back right after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic, concealed carry, and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
Show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back. It's the final 25 minutes of the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here from the SHR Media Network studio, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. It's been a great show. I've asked people to call. Tons of people have called, and I still have somebody on the line. I do not know who this person is. All I have to say is thank you ever so kindly for waiting. I greatly appreciate the wait, and you are on, sir or ma'am, whoever you happen to be.
Hey, BZ, this is Earl.
Ah, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Great. Now, this is Earl, folks. The secret Earl. The Earl that I was never told about. The Earl whose wife is the Carry Girl whose ad we're carrying on SHR, who I was never told about by Sean Lewis. The secret Earl who Sean Lewis never told me used to work with him back in Boston. You know, Sean, that secret Earl, if you happen to be listening, Sean.
I hope he's listening.
Secret Earl, Sean. Thanks for cluing me in and telling me. And it had to be Earl, Sean, who told me who he was, because all along I'm sure he was thinking, damn, this guy must be thick. He hasn't mentioned the fact that I know Sean and used to work with him in Boston. But no, do you think Sean let me in on that, Earl? No, that didn't occur. Anyway, this is Earl Jackson, and thank you for calling in from Texas, Earl.
Well, thanks for having me, and I do hope that you heaped a whole pile of shit on him for that.
Yeah, it's not, Earl, it's not going to stop.
Awesome.
What does America mean to you, sir?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, this is the greatest country in the world. I mean, where there's no other country in the world where you can start from the absolute bottom, work your way up, and become a millionaire or a billionaire. There's no place else in the world where you and I can talk a ton of crap about every politician that we can't stand and not have stormtroopers coming and busting down our doors.
Yes.
And hauling us away. Of course, the left is not even slowly anymore. They're rapidly moving towards something like that. I don't know if you saw that story earlier today. Some congresswoman said that they need to start jailing people for making fun of congresswomen. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Have you read the Constitution that you swore to uphold? I mean, come on.
It's brain glazing in its stupidity. When you hear things like that, Earl Jackson, does it not make you think, or it makes me wonder, one of the first questions is, and I honestly do wonder, and I'm sure you've thought about it too, if we were to take a poll somehow to reach into the brain housing groups of all these people in Congress and in the Senate, I wonder how many people could say truly that they have read the entire Constitution, that they have read the entire Declaration of Independence, that they have read the entire Bill of Rights, and just to mess with their heads just a little bit, have they even thought about opening up the Federalist Papers, much less the Anti-Federalist Papers? Have any of them thought of that? Because the way they speak informs me, and I'm sure you, of their extreme lack of education. The younger they are, the worse they are.
Oh, and honestly, I'm not even sure that age has a whole lot to do with it. It does in some respects, absolutely. Just look at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, she's dumb as a stump. But I do not believe that, I would say probably 90% of them have not read the Constitution, the Federalist Papers. I'm going to go on a limb and say 98% haven't read all of the Federalist Papers. And I'm going to admit that I haven't read them all. I'm working my way through them, but they're a tough read, man. But you would think that the people who we elected to these offices would rise to a higher standard than that.
It's brain glazing in its, frequently they are brain glazing in their stupidity. Now,
frequently,
yeah. One of the other reasons, other than the fact that I had no idea who you were because Sean refused to tell me who you were when I said that I'm having Earl on the show. But anyway, one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on the show is in terms of service. I can't think of a guy who has served basically more than you have. And if you could go into your forms of service to America that you chose.
Well, I served in the United States Air Force during Desert Storm and Desert Shield and Desert Storm. I only served 4 years. I didn't see any combat, so I didn't have to make that sacrifice. But it was something that I was happy to do because, to be honest, when I first went in, it was a way to get out of my parents' house and make my way into the world. And I got to boot camp, and honestly, the best time I had in the military was in boot camp. Call me crazy. But got to boot camp, got to my duty station, and even though I didn't like the job that I was doing, how it fit into the larger mission of what we had to do, when I finally realized that, it was pretty amazing.
Well,
and then after I got out and ended up being able to serve in the community as a police officer. It was another one of those things where you felt good every night because you were making a difference, whether it was reuniting a lost kid with his mother, or breaking up a domestic violence situation, or locking up drug dealers. I mean, it was while I was able to do that, it was one of the most rewarding jobs the most rewarding job I've ever had.
And I think the next question and observation goes hand in hand. Those people who have a history of service will continue to have a history of service and place it far beyond. They are frequently selfless. And I'd like to take a minute to make this clarification, if I may. Some of the people in the military have said, and I'll be the first to admit, I did not serve in the military. I told everybody that story. I spent 41 years in law enforcement. Rather than the military aspect, there was another very salient reason for that. I have said in the past to service members, I thank you for your service. And occasionally that's become, or I don't know, it depends upon the individual. Some say that it's become a trite phrase. However, when I say thank you for your service, I say it from the aspect of, I don't know where you went. I don't know your background. I don't know your family. I don't know where you served. I don't know how many places you served. But there's a couple of things that I do know about you as a service member, and that's the aspect that I'm thanking. It's the courageousness and the sacrifice, and mostly the dogged sacrifice, because sacrifices have to be made in order to be in the military. Having a family is very difficult in the military. You're not going to make anything remotely resembling an assload of money. You will get benefits. Sometimes you will have to work like a son of a bitch to get those benefits. There's no saying that Congress, in its infinite wisdom, won't try to take those benefits away from you, though depending upon your service, you may have given, I don't know, pieces of you for your service. But that is the aspect, the selfless dedication and the courage and the sacrifice. That's what I'm honoring when I tell a service member or yourself that I admire what you do. To me, that's the aspect of your individuality that I am praising now until the day that I cack. That's what I mean when I say, thank you, Earl Jackson, for your service.
And I'd be willing to do it all over again. And I think when you hear some people say it, it does kind of sound trite. Like sometimes you hear people say it and you get the sense that they don't really mean it. They just feel like it's something they have to say.
You can tell.
And you can tell. But I accept that gratitude anyway. And when I see service members that are still active duty and people that I know that have served and people that I know that have served in combat situations, I thank them for their service because I know the sacrifice that they made. And in some cases it was a brutal sacrifice. And so I can see how it might be perceived as becoming trite because so many people just feel like it's the thing to say.
Yes.
But I take it to heart, and I know that I work with a couple of veterans, and I know that they take it to heart and appreciate it, as do I.
Well, as I indicate that, I appreciate your sacrifice. I appreciate your service, yours, everyone else's, because it when I see somebody in the service, already I know a certain amount about that individual, male, female, paint job. I couldn't care less. I already innately know something about the nature of what makes you you in your sacrifice for the United States. And thanks for being on here tonight to tell me what the United States means to you. I greatly appreciate it. And thanks for that, sir. Thank you for your service, and thank you for being here. There's
Absolutely. I'm glad to do it.
A 2-hour difference, so it's almost midnight where you are right now. So thank you for that, too.
I just looked at the clock, and it actually is.
Yes, it is. All right. Thank you, Earl. And I got to have you back.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th of July. And here's one thing I do know about you. You are going to be grilling some steaks. I know that.
How did you know?
Because I've seen the pictures. All righty. Thank you, sir. Have a great 4th of July.
It is going to be good.
All right. Take care, sir. God bless.
You too. God bless you. Have a good day. Earl
Jackson, thanks for that. Greatly appreciate it. I think this has been a wonderful show. I haven't played anything yet. Again, one of these things where I have 50 cuts lined up. And, you know what? I do have time for this, though. If I don't play anything, I'm going to play this. At this point of the show, I'm a little hesitant to play this, but it's not all that long, and it's illustrative in a bit of what I just talked about with Earl. On the other hand, it's funny. Simultaneously, it's a little sad as well.
What's up, guys? This is Will Witt from PragerU. Today we're on Santa Monica Beach, and we're going to be asking people some questions for the 4th of July. Why do we celebrate the 4th of July? I don't really know. Why do we celebrate the 4th of July?
Celebrate the independence of our nation.
Our independence?
It's our Independence Day.
Independence Day. For the independence of America.
Why is the year 1776 significant?
The U.S. 1776? I have no idea.
Great.
What's the significance of 1776?
Great.
Is that when Columbus sailed the ocean blue?
What is the significance of 1776?
I don't know.
What's the significance of 1776?
I don't even know what that is.
It's a year.
Yeah, I figure.
Why do we celebrate the 4th of July?
I forgot.
What is the year 1776 about?
I forgot.
About the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
What's the significance of 1776?
Yeah, that one I don't know. I'm not a history person.
I can tell. What's the significance of 1776?
Christopher Columbus.
Why is the year 1776 significant?
It's the Civil War.
Close.
Or the end of it, or the end of slavery. 1776, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. That's why they say it, because it rhymes. Oh.
Yeah. How sad is that? There's some truth, however, in what was said earlier by Jeff Dunitz about July 2nd.
Crash Course U.S. History, and today we're going to talk about July 4th, which in the United States is known as Independence Day. This is the day that Americans celebrate our independence from Great Britain by doing what we do best: blowing stuff up, offering significant discounts on mattresses, driving long distances for uncomfortable family interactions, and eating a lot of grilled meat.
That's me. That's me. Eating the grilled meat, baby. Guaranteed. 2-inch thick steaks. Guaranteed. Right here.
Right. So the story goes that the founders of this nation signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776, parting ways with King George to found the freest, finest nation on the face of the earth. Yeah, except the Continental Congress actually approved a resolution of independence on July 2nd. The Lee resolution was proposed by Richard Henry Lee of Virginia in June of 1776 and was a simple legal declaration of separation from England. John Adams got so excited about it that he wrote to his wife Abigail, "The second day of July 1776 will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other.
Right.
From this time forward, forevermore. So
July
what happened
2nd.
on the 4th? Well, not that much, actually. The Declaration of Independence was the formal announcement of independence, and its text was approved on July 4th, 1776. The fancy parchment version with all the pretty calligraphy wouldn't get drawn up until July 19th, and most members of the Congress signed the Declaration on August 2nd. Adams may have been wrong about the date, but he was definitely right about the celebration. Americans started celebrating the 4th of July as early as 1777, and as Adams predicted, the holiday was observed with feasts, 13-gun salutes, and fireworks. Why don't we call them illuminations anymore, Stan?
13-gun salutes. Come on, folks. Why 13? You know.
You know, people can say, like, oh, we put a man on the moon and we can refrigerate our meat now, but I miss the old days. Anyway, in 1778, George Washington celebrated the 4th by giving his soldiers a double ration of rum, and also there was much more shooting than usual. But while the people celebrated the anniversary from the beginning, the federal government took its sweet time in formalizing the holiday. Independence Day became an unpaid holiday for federal employees in 1870 and became a paid day off in 1938. 4th of July observances have evolved over the years, but they generally involve patriotic displays, including decorations, fire, and explosives. Essentially, we celebrate our independence by having a one-day fake war each summer. Huzzah! Freedom tinnitus. Early observances were marked by huge bonfires, but the litigious nature of modern American society has...
Wait, is that what I have as range master for the sheriff's department? First, I listened to tons of music in headphones, so I'm wearing headphones today. But then when I was range master of my department, that's it. That's what I had. I have freedom tinnitus.
Greatly reduced the number of bonfires. However, we still have a lot of fireworks on the 4th of July. Many cities and towns across the country sponsor fireworks displays on the 4th. New York's fireworks display is the largest in the nation. Despite the grandeur of these officially sanctioned displays, many individuals across the nation feel the need to blow stuff up on their own in their yards because, you know, they have all of their fingers, and that seems like too many. Many states have restricted the sale and personal use of fireworks, freedom haters, but would-be patriots find their way to marginal neighborhoods every year to buy fireworks out of the backs of vans. In my neighborhood, these personal pyrotechnic celebrations start in about mid-May and continue well into August.
Okay, stop just for a second. Does anybody besides myself know of people, and I'm talking about, this is the late 50s, early 60s, who, when something known as the M80 was around, anybody know friends, relatives, etc., who may have lost an appendage due to an M80? Hands? I know somebody.
Causing my dog to have a very stressful summer. John Adams' prediction about gunfire holds true as well. On most military bases, 50 gunshots, one for each state, are fired at noon on July 4th as a salute to the Union. And in Stan's neighborhood, where you go to buy the fireworks out of the backs of vans, celebratory gunfire is common throughout the year. Here is an actual bullet hole in Stan's actual window. Stan, can we get the Libertage again?
And I think that's enough of that. I've had a great time tonight. I didn't get to any of my cuts. It almost makes me want to have like an early show on Thursday during the afternoon so that I can still have my massive steak for dinner on Thursday, because I've got so much other stuff that I wanted to talk to everybody with tonight. However, let me say this. I look at that as a good thing. And the reason it's a good thing is this is me thanking you for being active here in chat tonight and also for calling in. I'd like to get the show to the point where people are not hesitant to call in and we have a really lively interchange back and forth. So I'm going to continue to solicit phone calls, advocate calling in, telling me what you think. And in that aspect, down the line, that's where I'd eventually like to get the show, like any other radio show, where you have the opportunity and the chance to say what it is that you want on the show, and you spread the word, and more friends and more people come here. So in mind of that, thank everybody for being here. Thanks to Jeff, Kerry, thanks to Mike, thanks to Earl, thanks to Jack, thanks to everyone for being here tonight. I really appreciate all the calls that you've had, the great points that you've all made. I say it before and I'll say it again. God bless America. This is the last and best hope for not just this nation. The American soldier in the United States of America are the last best hope, in my opinion, for the entire planet. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network. If you want to contact me, you can find me on Twitter at BZEP, my blog at bloviatingzeppelin.net. Thanks to Big Sarge Media for simulcasting my show on the Big Sarge Media Facebook page. My promotional consideration is by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works and also by the Boeing Company. If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going. And also to Pratt & Whitney Engines Thrust. You can trust. Tiaras are by My Little Pony. Thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I shall be consorting. Guaranteed. I'm looking at the hour. I will be consorting with them in less than an hour. Guaranteed. Thanks to everybody for calling in. Thanks to all of my guests. Thanks to you for listening live, for being engaged in chat. Also in the podcast tomorrow night, I hear rumors of a chat show. If I know it's on, I'll let everybody know in social media. God bless everybody. Take care. Be safe.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children.
Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night.
Good night, Jim Bob. Go to sleep.
Good night, and good luck.